You know, every single time you take an international flight, you're playing by a set of rules, a rule book you've probably never even heard of. It's this silent global agreement that makes your entire trip possible. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on how it all works.
I mean, think about it. When you fly from, say, New York to Tokyo, everything just seems to work. Your passport gets scanned, the cargo gets loaded, it all flows. But how? How do you get 193 different countries to all play from the same playbook?
Well, it all comes down to this one incredible document, an invisible rulebook that basically choreographs the movement of every person, plane, and package across every border. It's the secret sauce of global travel, and today we're going to dive right in.
Okay, let's get into it. This secret document is officially called Annex 9 to the Convention on International Civil Aviation, and its nickname is simply Facilitation. It's put out by ICAO, that's the International Civil Aviation Organization, and its entire reason for being is to make sure your global journey is as smooth as possible.
So, what exactly is facilitation? At the end of the day, it's just a fancy word for one simple goal: getting rid of pointless delays. It's a worldwide commitment to streamline all the bureaucratic stuff. Customs, immigration, all of it, so that planes, people, and cargo can get where they're going without getting stuck. So let's kick things off with the part that's all about you, your passport, your data. Because get this, long before your plane even touches down, the country you're flying to already knows you're on your way. Here's how that happens. Okay, so this whole system basically boils down to two key sets of your data. First, when you book your flight, that creates something called a passenger name record, or PNR. Think of the PNR as the what of your journey, your itinerary. Then, when you check in and they scan your passport, that creates the Advanced Passenger Information, or API. That's the who. Both are absolutely essential for security. So your data's journey starts the moment you hit book. The PNR gets made right then. The API is created at the check-in counter. And here's the magic part. Both of those files are zipped ahead to border control at your destination, giving them a heads up so they can screen passengers before the plane has even landed. Now, for any of this to work, you need everyone to be using the same kind of documents, right? That's why Annex 9 says all passports have to be machine readable, like the one in your pocket. It also pushes countries to use those little biometric chips. That's what makes it an e-passport. And crucially, it requires them to report any lost or stolen passports to Interpol. That stops people from using them for fraud. But look, it's not just about us, the passengers. This whole rulebook is also about making sure the plane itself, the crew, and everything packed inside it can move just as smoothly across borders. I mean, just think about the pilots and flight attendants. They cross borders for a living, sometimes multiple times a day. So to speed things up for them, Annex 9 created the Crew Member Certificate. It's basically a special machine-readable ID that works like a fast pass at border control. And all that stuff packed in the cargo hold? Well, it has its own passport too. It's called the Cargo Manifest. It's a standardized list of every single item on board, and it tells customs exactly what's coming so they can clear it quickly. And believe me, the list goes on. This rulebook gets into the nitty-gritty of everything. There are standardized forms for the airplane itself, rules for spraying the cabin to stop invasive insects from hitching a ride, and even rules that let an airline bring in spare parts, tax-free, for an emergency repair. It's all about removing any friction that could slow things down. All right, so everything we've talked about is for when things go smoothly. But what about when they don't? What happens when a journey goes wrong? Well, a massive part of this global rulebook is setting clear, predictable rules for exactly those moments. The official term, right out of Annex 9, is an inadmissible person. This is anyone who, for whatever reason, a visa problem, a document issue, gets turned away at the border by the authorities. You can just imagine, right? It's a super stressful, confusing moment. But here's the thing. Because of Annex 9, there isn't chaos. There's a clear, internationally agreed-upon playbook for exactly what to do next. And the rules are crystal clear. The airline that flew you there, it's on them to arrange your flight out. Now, the airline is protected from huge fines if they can prove they checked your documents properly. And here's the most important part. The country that issued your passport is required to take you back. No questions asked. This simple rule prevents people from getting stuck in a horrible legal limbo. Now, it's really important to get this. This rulebook is not some dusty old document sitting on a shelf. It's a living thing. It changes and evolves based on what's happening in the world. After a wave of hijackings, security rules were added.
After 9/11, machine-readable passports became the standard. After disease outbreaks, health protocols were put in. It's always adapting.
And it even has a plan for those act of God moments, things completely out of anyone's control, like a volcanic ash cloud that grounds all flights. The rulebook recommends that countries step up and help stranded passengers, maybe by letting them enter the country temporarily or extending a visa that expired because of the delay.
So this all sounds great, but it brings up a huge question. How in the world do you get 193 countries to agree on, well, anything? It seems impossible, but the system is built on a really clever foundation.
Well, the whole system works on this really smart two-tiered approach. You've got standards and you've got recommended practices. A standard is a hard rule. You have to follow it, or you have to formally tell the world why you can't. A recommended practice is more like a strong suggestion, something everyone agrees is a great idea and will try their best to do. This mix of firm rules and flexible goals is what makes the whole thing work.
And honestly, all of this, it all tracks back to a promise made way back in 1944. This one sentence from the treaty that created the whole system is the bedrock of modern aviation. It's a pledge from every country to do everything in their power to keep planes flying and to stop unnecessary delays. It's a promise to keep the world connected. So next time you're at the airport scanning your passport or watching the bags get loaded, you'll know. You'll know there's this incredible, invisible system making it all happen. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we race towards a future of digital passports on our phones and walking through biometric corridors without stopping, what new rules will the next chapter of this secret rulebook have to write?